It's a beautiful Saturday morning at the Dettore home. Late August means back to school and plenty of stress for Andi, Cassie, and Taylor. Andi works in the Farrell School District, while Taylor and Cassie are students at Neshannock High School. But considering the events of the past year and a half, they're all enjoying every minute of the craziness. In January of 2006, the Dettore family would unexpectedly have their lives turned upside down. Taylor and all of those around her would face a life-changing experience. This is Taylor's story of courage.
Taylor came out of the womb kicking and screaming. I swear she was a strong-willed child from the beginning, and as a child she was very much a tomboy.
Not too much girly things, even when she was little. She was more a sports and a tomboy. She had a fascination with mud. Liked to get in mud a lot. I didn't care where we went. She was in the mud, always dirty. She was the dirtiest one there.
Despite her dirty little habit, Taylor blossomed into a beautiful young woman.
She was on a basketball team for 2 years, 7th and 8th grade, and then decided to give that up for cheerleading, but she still plays basketball a lot.
The first game that I have went to play for my high school year, I got the ball at the tip-off, and I scored for the wrong team. But the funny thing is, I look at my mom, and she's cheering, "Yeah, you did it!"
Taylor is very much a people person. She is not self-absorbed. She notices others. She reaches out to others and always has.
They were 11 months apart, Taylor and Cassie. When they grew up, they were very close to each other.
Then, literally overnight, Taylor began to notice changes. She became winded easily. Her cheerleading uniform no longer fit. Her stomach swelled with pain. Andi rushed her to the Jameson ER.
They told me that Taylor was filled with ascites, which is fluid, that her abdomen was completely filled with fluid.
My stomach was huge. It out here looked like I was pregnant almost. It was out to here. It was 45 pounds of fluid.
Taylor was transferred by ambulance to Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh. After hours of waiting and endless tests, the team of doctors entered Taylor's room. The Dettores never expected what they were about to learn.
I sat on the edge of the bed and just went over with her that it was rhabdomyosarcoma, that we had to complete some more studies to make sure it wasn't spread through other parts of her body, like her bone marrow or her lungs, and thankfully it wasn't, because that would make it that much harder to cure.
At that point, I almost passed out.
And obviously, as a parent, you just go through all the absolute heart-wrenching emotions of, what are we dealing with here? But she looked at the doctor when Dr. Shaw, our oncologist, said, "You do have cancer." She said, "Is it curable?" And he said, "It can be."
From that very second that they said, "You have a mass in your stomach," just knowing from that second on that I just have the strength to go throughout this, and I have my family. I got this for a reason. God put it in my life for a reason, and we're going to make it through this. I just looked up at everybody and I said, "Guys, we're good to go."
Good to Go became Taylor's anthem. And as a fundraiser, Cassie created a wristband displaying these words of courage. Taylor received strength from so many places: family, friends, and faith.
Immediately, our church had a prayer vigil, and two things resulted or came about during that time. One was Jamie felt that she had a vision, that she saw the hand of Christ holding Taylor in the palm of his hand. And she called me, and she says, "Taylor," or Andi, she says, "It's okay. He's got her in his palm." And you know what? As a mom, sometimes you wonder, does that mean he's taken her home? Or does that mean, he's watching over her? But I really believed that he was going to heal her.
Doctors indicated there would be no chance of surgical removal of the tumor. The treatment plan would include chemotherapy and radiation. Within days of her first chemo treatment, Taylor began to lose her hair.
I saw this commercial and this girl looked so beautiful, and she was talking about her cancer too. I'll never forget it. And she was saying how it didn't matter what she looked like, and I didn't know what I was going to feel like when I lost my hair. And I just remember looking at her, and I was like, well, she's beautiful. And I'm like, well, I can be bald and beautiful too. So I called my dad up. He was at the McDonald house. And I was like, Dad, you need to come over here. And he's like, he thought something was wrong. I was like, you need to bring your shaver and shaving cream. We got to shave my head. I got some of my friends, and I was like, well, if I'm going to have a bald head, we're going to have fun with it. So we painted it. We just had fun painting it.
Taylor was in a battle for life, not just against a deadly cancer. She suffered serious complications from the treatments. Her already petite, 100-pound body shrunk to less than 80 pounds. The chemotherapy had caused nerve damage to her legs and feet, making it difficult and at times impossible to walk.
She needed casts on her ankles to help keep her legs, her ankles, her joints from getting contracted and locked in position. She had a lot of intense physical therapy, both at home and then in the hospital and as an outpatient.
Still, Taylor found the strength and courage to support others. Her family was constantly by her side. Friends and classmates made frequent visits. And on one particular day, Taylor got a special visitor.
I just hear this knock on my door, and I look over, and I was like, oh, please, just another doctor. I was like, leave me alone. And I looked over, and I pulled the covers up over my head, actually. And in walks Troy Polamalu, which I had no idea. It was actually him at first. Everything went out of my mind. I'm feeling fine. I'm Taylor. I'm back to myself, and I was so excited.
During her months of treatment, Taylor endured numerous bouts with high fever, low blood count, and pain which kept her in the hospital for weeks at a time. But the emotional trauma was even greater. Taylor would suffer the loss of her close friend, Kayla Brown. The worst of times could not rob Taylor of her amazing spirit. Throughout it all, she reached out to others, sharing laughs with nurses and doctors, and sharing words of encouragement with other cancer patients.
Anybody in our church that's going through a sickness or cancer, well, she's right there, the first one there, with her arms around them.
Well, she'd come and get me in church, and we'd go up to the altar and pray.
And I remember we shared a scripture with her, Psalm 112:7. I will fear no bad news because I have confidence in God.
It's an awesome verse, and it's really helped me get through this.
Taylor was in the hospital being treated for a staph infection when her room phone began to ring off the hook.
It was her friend Ashley. Taylor, you made homecoming. She goes, what? You're on homecoming court. And Taylor lets out this squeal like a pig, you know. Ma, guess what? I'm on homecoming court.
And she was all excited about that. But she was worried about her feet and walking. She was having a very difficult time walking.
She wasn't able to wear any kind of sandals. Her foot she has no control over her feet at that time, and she certainly couldn't wear any high heels. So we bought her a pair of tennis shoes, and my sister-in-law Kara and I decorated them with sequins and glitter and ribbons.
She got her dress and everything, but she got sick and wasn't able to go get any accessories. So we bought hats, we bought jewelry, we bought scarves, shawls, all this stuff, and we just took it over there one night, and then Taylor just got to pick whatever she wanted.
She's like, I'm going out there without a wig. She never wanted to wear a wig. She's like, I think it's kind of cool being bald. She goes, why do I have to cover it up,
She did wear a hat, I think, for a little while, just because she was cold.
So that night came, and it was still touch and go. We honestly didn't think she was going to go, but she went out on her field with her tennis shoes, with her little bald glittery head, and didn't miss a beat.